Good morning, class. Welcome to this session of modern organization and management. In our last class, we were discussing regarding neoclassical theory, and in neoclassical theory, we had discussed behavioral science approach and quantitative approach. In our today's class, we shall discuss regarding contingency approach or what we call as situational approach. Now, this conditional or situational approach tells that there is a problem with the universality of management principles. Now, it tells that the methods that can be used in one particular set of conditions cannot be used in the same way in another set of conditions. Now, every situation differs from one another. Now, this is same as how it can be found out by parents in handling their children. The way in which they handle their one child would be very much different from the way in which how they'll have to handle their second child. In the same way, whenever it comes to an organization and in respect of taking decisions or the way in which these problems are handled, each of the situation, each of the particular set of conditions will always differ from one another. And when in organization, what happens is some of employees are usually be motivated by the money they can make in the organization or the economic growth that they can find in the organization. While for some others, might be they are interested in some kind of challenging work. And for some other, maybe self actualization needs are important. And also, the same individual, he might be motivated by different things in different situation. Now, speaking about contingency theory, it argues that appropriate managerial actions depends on the particular parameters of the situation. Now, what is this contingency theory? Now, contingency theory is based on the foundation that the situation that are present in the organization are the ones which decides what action a manager should take. Now it also tells that different situation requires different approaches to be applied by the managers, and there is no one single way of solving all the problems, or there is no one single way which is best for all the situations in the organization. Now, there are some of the contingency theorists like Burns and Stoker, Selznick, Woodward, Lawrence, and Lorsch, and James Thompson. Now, all these contingency theorists, they tell that in an organization, because the tasks that are conducted, the activities that are conducted, and the people, those who work in the organization differ, they tell that the method of managing them also must be different. Now, the choice of a particular method of managing usually depends upon what kind of job it is and what kind of people are involved in doing the jobs, and under what circumstances are these activities being done. Now, according to this particular contingency approach, the effective management always varies with the organization and environment. That is to tell, somewhere it has to be very rigid, sometimes it can be very lenient. According to the situation, A manager should handle the decisions that he has to take. Now, speaking about contingency approach, it is both analytical and also it is situation. Now, there are some of the important elements of the contingency theory. Now, the first important thing is the manager's action or the managerial action is always contingent in nature. Now, these actions can be outside the system, it can be within the subsystem, or as the case may be. And the second thing it tells that always in an organization, the efforts that are being put should be based on the behavior of the actions which is outside to the organization or outside to the system, so that it will help the organization to run smoothly and also to coordinate and cooperate with the environment in which it is situated. And the third important thing that contingency approach tells that always the managerial actions and also the way in which the organization has been designed, it should go hand in hand with the given situation. Now, one particular set of action will only be helpful for that particular set of condition to which it has been made. And because of this particular thing, what contingency situation preaches, there is no one best approach to management. It will always vary from situation to situation. Now, if you go through the PPT, now there is a box which will let you know the difference between the system theory and the contingency theory. Now, speaking of this, systems theory always speaks about the synergy, that is, an organization is made up of different system and subsystem. Contingency theories preaches that every situation or every activity in the organization is different, and according to this, the decisions are to be made. Now, if you go through this, you will be able to understand it. It is simple to understand. Now, speaking about the implications of the contingency theory. Now, the contingency theory tells that for an organization, there can be no any plans made pre-hand, or there can be no any organization structure or one particular type of leadership styles or control which can fit all the different situation in the organization. If at all you find any such, then there shall be only a few. There can be only few universal truths, concepts, and principles which can be applied under all the conditions. Now, instead, it tells that every management situation must be approached with the fact that it all depends. Now, you can come with a plan, but you should always be ready that it can be successful, it can be unsuccessful, or in other words, it all depends attitude. Now, there is one contingency theorist, Robert Albanese. He tells that the strength of the contingency approach rests on two main facts. First is that it always focuses the attention on specific situational factors which influence the appropriateness of managerial strategy over another. And the second is that contingency theory always highlights the importance to managers for developing skills in different situational analysis. Now, such skills will always help managers find out important contingency factors which can influence their decision and their approach to manage things in the organization. So, if we speak about contingency theory in a nutshell, it tells that management is entirely situational. That is, every other activity, every other situation in organization is different. And also, because of this, the managerial actions are contingent both in internal and also in terms of external factors. And also, that managerial actions must be consistent with the requirement with both internal as well as external factors. Okay. Now, how can we evaluate this particular contingency approach or situational approach? Now, this contingency approach is a very useful device which can be used as to, give us a attention or a caution of the fact that there is complexity in every situation, and also it forces us to take, very active and dynamic role in determining what things might work or which things might work best for the organization. Now, contingency theory is one which combines both mechanistic and also humanistic approach. Now, this is the one which tells different conditions and situation always require the application of different management techniques. Now, it helps in also, fitting the classical and behavioral theories in a proper framework. Now, though these might be some of the, you know, advantages of contingency theory or the facts which can help us to be favor regarding contingency theory, there are some of the drawbacks of this particular theory also. Now, this theory has been, criticized by many of the theorists. The first criticism is that there is no any, you know, defined literature, or there is paucity of literature. Now, this is to tell that contingency theory does not has adequacy of literature. Now, it has not been developed to an extent where it can offer managerial solutions to different managerial problems in certain specific way. Now, the critics is that it is very simple to say that managerial actions depends upon situation. Now, that can be said, but this particular theory never offers in exact terms what a manager should do to a given situation. The next criticism is that it is complex in nature. It is theoretically complex also. Even one simple problem will always involve analyzing a number of organizational elements. Now, each of which will have uncountable ways of looking through the different situation or innumerable dimensions. Now, often managers may find this to be very difficulting and also a huge exercise which takes time and also resources. Now, this particular theory, it defies empirical testing. Now, that is to tell the purpose advanced by contingency theorists cannot be put to empirical testing in a certain specified way. Now, there are different multi-dimensional situation factors which are to be considered while testing the fact of contingency theory. Now, the next criticism is that this particular theory is always reactive and not proactive. That is to tell, once after the situation happens, then the manager would be able to take decision. A manager can never take decision in pre-hand. And the one more criticism is that it is incomplete in nature. Now, critics argue that contingency approach does not incorporate all the aspects that are being said under system theory, and they also hold that it has yet to not developed to the point in which it can be considered as a true theory. Now, in spite of all these criticisms, contingency theory will always hold good at micro level where managers are forced to look into both internal as well as external requirements or elements when they have to manage their organization. Now, when we spoke regarding system approach as a large view, now content situational approach is a small wonder. Now, whatever the case may be, the contingency view are at last directed towards only the fact that it in suggesting organizational design and managerial action more suitable for each of the specific situation. Now, this is all regarding contingency approach. Now, thereby we finish the classical theory and the neoclassical theory of management. If anyone has any doubt regarding that, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Okay, I guess there are no any questions. So we can move further. And the last one is modern management thought. Okay. Now, speaking about the modern management thought, now this is an all encompass or integrative theory in the sense that it combines all the valuable concepts of classical theory with the social and also different natural science. Now, the inspiration from which this modern management thought has been developed is that of system analysis. Now, these modern management theorists pick up where the Hawthorne research left off. Of modern management theory, though has not been developed very well, it has been characterized by some of the following characteristics. Now, these characteristics were the characteristics which has been picked up by a study done by Hicks and Gullett. Now, the first fact regarding modern management thought is that they tell that it is an open system view. That is to tell, according to the modern management theorists, every organization is an open system. Open system in the sense it for every activity interacts with the external environment and this interaction is a continuous activity. And this is also very much necessary so that the organization can survive and also flourish. And it receives input from the environment, processes them according to what the objectives are there into products or services and offers them back to the environment. And in doing so, the organization will always try to adapt itself to all the changing requirements of the environment in which it is situated. And because it has to, adjust itself continuously to the environment, the second fact of the modern management or the characteristics tells that it is dynamic and adaptive in nature. Now, undoubtedly, modern theory is dynamic. That is to tell, it should always change in the outside environment. Not only change, but it should be such an organization which can adopt itself also continuously. Now, the third characteristics of management, modern management thought is that it is both multi-level and also multi-dimensional. Now, this multi-level and multi-dimensional is both micro and macro in its approach. Micro is nothing but where the internal environment is considered. Macro is the one where the external environment is being considered. Now, this is not paradox or opposite to one another. Now, when we consider macro, we speak in respect of the entire nation or all the different industry. Now, when we speak about micro, we always speak in respect of the internal parts of the organization. Now, the fourth characteristics of modern management thought is that it is both multi motivated and also multidisciplinary in nature. Now, this modern management thought, as contradictory to that of the classic theorists, where the classic theory considers workers as an economic man, or a person who is always motivated by money, modern management theory considers the fact that the human behavior is always the result of different factors in the organization. And this particular view considers human to be an individual who is a very complex being and who can be motivated in different ways. Now, that is regarding multimoted when it tells that it is not only that the money which motivates an individual. There could be both economical and non-economical elements which motivates a employee or individual in an organization. Now it is multidisciplinary because modern management thoughts it usually takes concepts from different disciplines. Now not only from economics, it also takes up from sociology, engineering, psychology, anthropology, and also social psychology. And when we speak of this modern management thought, it is always the problem solving and also decision making are the two important points where they do study, research, and also it depends upon numerous disciplines. The fifth characteristic of modern management thought is that it is descriptive and also probabilistic in nature. Now, modern management thought is descriptive rather than it being perspective or normative. Now, it never tells how to handle things, but it always tells how things are handled. Now, it is a way of describing an organization and its functioning. Now, it is also probabilistic and not deterministic. Now, deterministic is nothing but where the outcome is predictable or certain. But then, if it never tells anything in specific. Now, for you to understand deterministic in a better way, when you use calculator, you can take into consideration 10 plus 20. The result will be always be 30 and nothing else. Now, it is a deterministic system. Now, probabilistic is one where one particular determined outcomes exist. I mean, probabilistic is one which there is no uniquely determined outcome. That is to tell, if you can take into consideration of tossing a coin. When you toss a coin, there is 50% chances that either you get head or you get, I mean, the result would be either head or tail. But then the probability of getting head or tail shall always be 50%. And the last characteristic is that it is integrative in nature. Now, it is integrative in nature because it tells that the classical theory focuses all its importance on the technical side of doing work and thereby solving the problem. Whereas a neoclassical theory, it gives too much importance for human relation and human side of work. Now, both of this theory, according to modern management theory, it discounts the importance of taking an one integrated approach or one approach which can have the views of both or advantages of both, which can give importance for both economic as well as social variable. And this deficiency that was there in both neoclassical and classical theory, the modern management theory, it tries to correct all these drawbacks and deficiencies by taking average components of both classic and neoclassical system. Now, because this modern management theory are yet to be developed, it is in the base level. This is all the information that could be there. Now, for more information, you can always go through different textbooks or also through internet source. So so these are the three different kinds of theories where we divided it on the basis of classical theory, which gave importance for the technical side of work, or it said what is important in organization is that you do the work according to the objective. And the second one is neoclassical theory, which gave importance for the human element, where it said that if you are able to satisfy the human components, then the organization can do better off. And then was the modern management theory, which took the positive sides of both the earlier theory and tries to integrate all in one. Now, speaking about this, the last thing is that it has been given to all of you in the PDF that was sent. That is the contribution of some of the management thinkers, some of the very leading management thinkers. Now, this information you will have to go through. It is a work which has to be done by you. The information is given. If you think that it is not sufficient, then you can always go and find further more. In briefly regarding some of the management thinkers, it has been given. The list is never exhaustive. You can do a list of your own, do the study. In the PDF that has been shared regarding Mary Parker Follett, Rensis Likert, Elton Mayo, Peter Drucker has been given. Now you'll have to go through this because in one of the earlier questions paper or in one of the semester exam, not so ages ago, one particular question regarding 15 marks was what are the contributions of the different management thinkers. So if at all you are unlucky enough and if you get such a question, then it shall be helpful. So by this we finish off the first chapter of your modern organization and management. I hope this was not big enough. Whatever has been mentioned in the syllabus, I have tried to cover. Now, if anybody feels that if anything has been left out, please do let me know. I shall cover it in the coming sessions. So we shall move to our next chapter, that is planning. This is module 2 of your modern organization and management, where we speak about the first function of management, or what we speak regarding the first or the main one of the main function of management is it to be, that is planning. Now we tell it all starts with planning, or planning, to put in the most simple words, it is nothing but before you do, you think of it, or before you do, you decide that you are going to do a particular set of things. So planning is deciding in advance what is that you will have to do, and how will you be doing it, and when will you be doing it, and who has to do it. Now, who has to do it becomes very important in organization, because in organization, planning work is done by one set of people and doing work would be done by another set of people. So, when we speak about organization and planning, it is deciding in advance what to do, how to do, when to do, and who is to do it. Now, the necessity, or you might have the question, because earlier we spoke about situational theory, and we said that there can be no one set of plan which can be made, because every different situation are different. Having said that, you might have a question, why is there a necessity for planning? Now the necessity arises because of the fact that these business organization, they have to operate, not only operate, they have to survive, and also along with this there should be growth or progress. Now all this happens in a very highly dynamic economy, where change is the rule, not the exception. Now, when we speak of this change, there is one more element with the change, is that this change might happen sudden, and this change can also be extensive in nature, or sometimes this change can be slow and almost imperceptible. That is, you might not be able to find out that there is some kind of changes. Now, speaking about these changes, what probably can change in an environment? Or which changes might affect the organization very much? Now, the answer to these questions can be, there could be changes in technology, changes in population and the income distribution in which the organization is situated. There can be changes in taste of consumer. There can be changes in competition, the government policies, the suppliers, and anything that makes the important fact of an organization. Now, whatever the changes could be in whichever element of the environment, now the changes will often give innumerable problems, and also these they make the organization face countless challenges. Now, most of these changes or problems will always fall on the manager. So it is manager in the organization who is forced to, adopt or adjust the activities in order to take full advantage and the favorable developments in the environment. When we speak about positive things, it can be taking advantage and, favorable developments, or it can also be to minimize the adverse effect of the unfavorable situation. Now, a successful manager should always try to visualize the problem before they become something called as emergency. Now, there is a definition which has been given by Terry, where he tells that successful managers deal with foreseen problems and unsuccessful managers struggle with unforeseen problems. And the difference shall always lies in planning. Now, our managers charged with the responsibility of achieving definite targets do not wait for the future. They make the future. Now, they are the ones who introduce original action by removing present difficulties and anticipating the future problems. They are the ones who change the goals to suit both the internal and the external changing environment. And they are the ones who experiment with the creative ideas and take the initiative in attempting to shape the future and also create a more desirable environment for the organization. Now, the meeting might end in another minute or two. I have taken down your attendance for this particular session. The link for the next session shall be posted in your WhatsApp group to the time mentioned there within the meeting. Please join before a minute or two. Thank you, class, for this session. Join once. Join at the time that has been mentioned in your message that would be sent in the group. And for this particular session, you can leave the meeting as of now.